Hey, there we go. What's going on, everybody? What's up, historians? Welcome back to another great episode of the Historically Haunted VODCAST. What just happened to my computer? There we go. All right. It's been a long week. Darling, it's been a tough day. I get that backwards, but so anyway, this is Historically Haunted Vodcast. I'm your host, the professional one, right? Adam Began, Adam the Historian Ghost Hunter. This show, as always, is brought to you and sponsored proudly by Trucker Donnie Green, the actor from Pet Cemetery that drove the red truck. Also by his trucking company, Bauer Green Logistics, him and his wife, Logistics LLC, as well as John Green John Green Logistics Company. It's a trucking company as well. We also got our weekly sponsor. Our sponsor of the week this week is Triple Goddess Cannabis and Apothecary in Brownville, Maine. Medical cannabis for those of you that have the med cards. The camera's not. See, it's one of those high-profile cameras. It's not picking it up, but it is 1497 Main Road, Brownville, Maine. That's a little bit past Dover Foxcroft, going towards Mount Katahdin, going towards all that good stuff. So be sure and check them out and tell them Adam sent you. I'll probably get you a good deal. So our guests are a little behind right now. They said they're coming on soon, so we're just gonna kind of just fucking speedball it here, I guess. Not literally. But until they come on, we have Rudy, aka Sir Rev, and Play.B of the Apocalypse Project podcast. What's up, Betsy Brown Williams? And they're going to be coming on soon in a minute. I've been a guest on their show a bunch. I've been a guest on mine once or twice, and they're officially new clients of mine while we're here. I guess while I'm here, I started. I guess Donnie wants me to be his manager now that the truck has been refurbished from Pet Cemetery. It's pretty much good to go. It doesn't run yet. The engine needs a little bit more work, but the body's good. I've been offered to go down and look at it in Baileyville, Maine, from the owners, who are also my clients, Mike. So I said, well, you know what? Let's try this for other people. I share enough stuff. You know, maybe not that I need to charge people, make money. I'm not making a killing on this, but you know, if you're good at something, do it right, and a bunch of people respect it and jump on. And I feel like I have enough respect from people to do it. So I got the Wildwood Sanatorium, Brooke and Zachary Preitzel. I hope I said that right. I haven't met them in person yet, but they also run a bunch of stuff. Who else? I got Obscure Research and Investigations, who sponsored the show for about 12 weeks. They're my clients as well. Of course, Witch and Life Guide. My girl Heather, she got her cards out, guys. Be sure. And I don't know why the camera's not picking that up. It's not that good of a camera or something. I don't know what's up with that, but she has that. She got all her goodies. She's gonna be bringing them because to Salem. You know, the earrings I got, button boobies, mushroom head, and of course the bracelets, all that good stuff. She also got me a pen with my logo on it, the little historically haunted logo. Very cool. So she'll be with me November 11th and 12th at Salem, Massachusetts. At Salem State University. It's like a college. And I'll be a speaker there. I'll be at 3 p.m. Saturday. I'll be speaking, right? So that's pretty neat. I've been invited and offered to go down. I'm going to have a table. She's going to have her goodies for sale, and I'm going to be a speaker. And I've also been invited personally from Tony Spera. If you guys don't know who Tony Spera is, he is the husband to Judy Spera, Judy Warren, Ed and Lorraine Warren's daughter. And he runs NESPR, New England Society for Psychic Research. And he offered for me to go to the Warren Convention in the Mohegan Sun, and that's next weekend, as his guest. No cost to me, just because we've known each other for a little bit now. He respects me. He's been on my show, and so I'll be there, not as a vendor, not as a speaker, but just walking around. So come up, say hi, get a picture with me, take a selfie, fucking whatever. So shout out to them. Yeah, I appreciate that, Betsy. It does, Rock. I appreciate it. I wish you could attend. I know. I appreciate that. Betsy's been with me since my car accident, since I was homeless, and since everything else. So she knows what's going on. There's my girl Heather checking in. Hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday night. Still waiting on our guest. What's up, George DaCosta? Of course, I don't want to repeat myself, but at the same time, I will mention it again. George is actually coming down. He was going to come down and do a tour, but then I get invited to do the Warren convention with him. So he's like, "Fuck it, you coming with me?" So he's going to come to Bangor, Maine, or whatever, Saco, Maine, pick me up, bring me down to Connecticut. We're going to spend like 3 or 4 days together, get a tattoo, go to Mystic Pizza, go to fucking so many different places in Connecticut, and then do the Warren convention for a couple of days, and then spend Monday coming back. And I appreciate that, George. And George is also going to be at the Salem Con too, that Charles Rosani is putting on. He's my guest in a couple of weeks, so I'll be there as a speaker and a table too. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. So we're waiting on our guest. I don't know what's up. I don't know where they are. Where they be? Let me see. You guys just wait 1 minute here. They should be able to show them shortly. So yeah. So big things are coming. That's for sure. I mean, I'm not quitting my day job, so to speak. I do work part-time because of my disability, but at the same time, big things are coming with Historically Haunted Booking, LLC. Look them up, guys, on Facebook. That's us, Heather and I. I'm kind of the forefront runner of it. Heather kind of gave me the idea, and I think it's great. So I got a lot of nice clients underneath there. I got the whole list. I should have the list in front of me. Kat Larson, Darlings Eternal. I also have New Era Paranormal team. I got Jim Brown and Dawn Brown, Tombstone Paranormal. We got Psychic Medium Allie Bennett. I'm pretty sure I want to offer it to Danny, but Danny's so good at promoting himself. Danny Perez, guys. Danny Perez is here. Definitely big things coming. Danny, man, you're one of the my biggest supporters, brother. I got my fucking neck is killing me. I don't know what's going on, guys, but let me see. Danny came down, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. There's his book, guys. Signed, personally signed. Stephen King's got an autographed copy. I haven't made a Facebook post yet, but he did give me, and I'm a little shortly. If you guys have ever seen Nosferatu, Stephen King's son, Joe Hill's TV series, Maggie is a creative, a strong creative, and she is the umbrella. And all right, guys, they're let me see. They're saying they're having a hard time. I just got a message from them. And so, yeah, that was a cool little thing. He took my tours, historically haunted tours is what I'm trying to get to. And I do that now for a fee. And I showed Danny everything from where Donnie Green, my agent that drove the truck at Pet Cemetery. Fiend shirt. Thank you. I get that in honor of Bray. His face glows in the black light. When the light go out, his face glows. I got that from Heather for Christmas. Wearing that in his honor tonight because my guests are wrestling fans too. I brought on my belt for everybody to see. We'll bring it on. It's signed by a lot of them. I got let's see, Lacey Evans, who was in the she was a Navy SEAL, but also a wrestler. I got Chris Jericho. He's a 6-time champ. You got Alexa Bliss. When I met her, these are all people I met. I didn't pay for this shit. This is, I'm trying to remember who the fuck signed my belt now. Who's this? I don't remember. There's Ted DiBiase, Braun Strowman. There they are. These fucking guys run their own podcast. There we go. And they still can't be on time. All right. Without further ado, we have Play.B. We have the Reverend Sir Rev, the Apocalypse Project podcast. Get your asses in here, boy.
Hey.
I don't know. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. You guys never on the side of it. You're not used to that.
We just had a hard time getting everything dialed in. I was just like, okay, we don't.
Well, I guess I should hit record.
Yeah. So, anyways, hey, Adam, how you doing?
Oh, I love you guys, man. I'm so cool. It's so cool to have you guys on. How you guys been? Everybody's jumping in. I was just kind of talking about the booking agency, just kind of killing time a little bit. And I wanted to give you guys a good lead in here, but everybody's checking in. So I give props on my Fiend shirt, Rev.
Oh yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, brother.
Yeah, it's sad news after hearing about his passing, but being so young. But yeah, that's yeah.
Are you drinking Ranger? I love it.
Voodoo Ranger, you like that?
Yeah, I was gonna try to get me one, but when I went, they didn't have any, so I was like, man, I was something different.
It's cheap. It's like $3.
So how you been, Adam? How's it? I
bought 2 of them. It came out to $6.66. I said, you better put a piece of gum on there or a lighter or something. I'm not leaving here with that price.
Hey, yeah.
So I want a lighter.
Can I at least get a 12-pack? That's
so
cool, man. So how's everything?
Man? Oh, sorry. There's a little bit of a delay on my end.
No, it's cool. No. I was asking how you been. How's everything going? How's the business, man? How's everything doing? Good.
I tell you, man. I mean, Rev can know. Me and Rev talk a lot. You know, not a lot, but I'd say we keep up, Rev. I mean, fairly through Messenger. We say hi to each other, and Rev helped me out, man. I was really low on my thing there for a while. Ups and downs, and I think that's what God does. God gives you, not to get biblical or religious, but it's all a test. You guys know that, and I think you really find out when your lows are low who your friends and family are and the ones that care about you. And Rev hooked me up one time. I ain't forgot
Nice.
about that. And that's kind of why you guys are my booking agency. I'm like, want to do a trade? And he's like, yeah. So I'm going to promote the hell out of you guys. And,
No, yeah, and I think that's a really interesting story, because one of the things that ever since the first time that we had a chance to actually sit and talk was that when we actually invited you onto our show, and that's the way. And I'm trying to remember, because we got in contact with a lot of different people over the last couple of years in the paranormal world. And for some reason, you came up as somebody that was recommended to us. And then I just started following you on Facebook. You mean
stalking?
Historian.
Were you stalking him?
I was cyber stalking you.
Oh, snap.
And it just seems like that you know a lot, though I don't know. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't have the formal you don't have a degree in history, unless I could be wrong. I mean, you're a man of many talents, so. But you would go. I followed your videos where you would go around.
Sounds like Rev has a man crush. I'm getting a little jealous over here.
I was saying, I'm blushing. You can't see it over here in the main sun. But,
how about I just sit there? No.
Quite because of all the historical backgrounds, and especially being from, which is quite infamous, not infamous, but famous for Stephen King being the birth home and the setting of almost all of his novels were in Maine. It, and the list goes on and on and on. And I just found that quite interesting. And the fact that you actually went to some really interesting places. One of them that really pulled me in is when you were talking about Lizzie Borden. And I think that was one of the first videos that I seen of yours. I was just like, that is super interesting.
Didn't you sleep in the bed or something?
I was just gonna say, remember Playboy made that thing when I was like, and I laid in their bed naked, and Playboy put like a woo woo whistle on your sound effect thing. That's one of your guys' little mini short videos on your fucking show. Oh, but I think that's what it is, and I think it's like what you guys know. It's like anything else, man. Whether it's music, whether it's the scripture, whether it's politics, whether it's whatever, man. If you grab something and it gravitates to you, might as well go head in full deep. And what do you need a fucking degree from a college for $80,000 in debt to say that I'm a professor?
Well, and that's one of the interesting things about the internet, and especially social media and mediums like this, where we're able to converse with people. Like, for instance, we are 3,000 miles apart, us here in California, where it's only 5 o'clock right now. It was like almost 100 degrees today, too. 100 degrees out here in the middle of the Central Valley, California, talking to you all the way in Maine, which is probably a lot brisker and cooler at this time of year.
It's pitch dark at fucking 5:30, about 5:45. The sun goes down. Right now, it's actually a balmy 51. It's a balmy 51. So I should have my sweatshirt on. But...
Oh no! What is actually? I'm curious. Like, how hot is it right now?
For us,
51. That's how cold it is when I wake up in the morning over here.
Say.
Oh my goodness! So let me see.
But Rev, dude, it would take you 7 hours to go from tip to tip of Maine. Like, people say that Augusta is the capital. It's kind of middle Maine. They say below Augusta is Maine 1, above Augusta is Maine 2, or northern Maine, or whatever. Because where I live by Bangor now, where I moved. I live by the Appalachian Trail, by Mount Katahdin, where the Wendigo's from.
Oh, wow.
All that stuff. Oh, yeah, I moved up. I'm 3 hours north. Heather lives in Old Orchard Beach, Portland. You know where that is, Maine? You familiar at all with Maine?
No.
She's in southern Maine. She's by New Hampshire,
The furthest I've ever been has been Minnesota. That's about the furthest east I've ever been, and I was only there for like a couple days, then came right back. And it was in the middle. It was in the middle of the summer, and I experienced all 4 seasons in one day. I guess there's that saying. They say, like, if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes, and then it would switch from sunny to stormy to rainy to over. It was
Isn't that
weird.
like
It was so
Seattle?
weird. Seattle's the same way. I've been to Seattle, but yeah, no, we haven't had the privilege of traveling that far east. That's like a completely different world.
Well, we're gonna there. You know what? I guess I'm gonna do a prophecy. I had a dream a couple weeks ago.
Wow. Okay.
I did have a dream. Hear me out. I had a dream, and in my dream, we went out there and we filmed a documentary about you and your tours and how you go and it actually got on Netflix, and I woke up and I was like, oh, it's just a fucking dream. But let's make that happen. I don't see why we couldn't.
Oh, I appreciate
we
that.
have everything on our end.
Lauren Perez, if you see her picture, the Radicals they drive around in a hearse in Connecticut. They make Ouija boards out of coffin wood. And that's no shit. And that's their picture in front of Stephen King's gate. I brought them there. They give them the whole tour. They probably dropped about $200 on me between the money and the gifts and a bunch of other stuff. Oh yeah. But I showed them, like you said, man, I mean, there's so much to see. I think it's why not, dude? You guys, I mean, this fucking, I don't know, man. I mean, literally, if I drive down like 45 minutes to my right, I'll drive to where Creepshow 2 was filmed, the beginning, Stephen King's Creepshow 2. Have you ever seen that? Where the guys get the truck?
Near you?
You guys ever seen that?
I don't know if he heard you.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, I seen the Creep Show, but I was asking. Oh, I didn't know that was filmed near your location. That's pretty cool.
You know what the funny thing is, though, is like there's a lot of things that I didn't realize that were in popular culture for a long time that were actually former Stephen King novels that were adapted into movies. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that. Like, there's so many things that I'm just amazed at, like all the things that.
Well, that just lets you know that the '80s was one of the last great eras because like, they're redoing everything that happened in the '80s. It's like,
yeah,
been there, done that.
That's that's interesting to think about. Because point, like they try to remake those like okay, for instance, like the Child's Play movie, right? They had an aura, and it was just because I was little. I mean, I remember one time after watching the movie, and I had to be somewhere around like 10 years old, but then having to go to bed in like my cousin's room, she was a girl, she had dolls because she was there, so I had to sleep there, and all of her dolls on the floor, whatever. It was just like I couldn't sleep. I had not the lights on because all I'm seeing one moment, one of these dolls is going to whip me, and I'm gonna freak out. But it just seems like movies back in the 80s, horror movies and those kind of movies back in the 80s, they had a certain mystique about them. Like maybe not even just the horror movies, but movies like horror comedies like Gremlins and things along those lines. And it's just like, what is missing in modern movies where it just doesn't have that mystique and character?
Well, I can tell you right now what it is. CGI.
Yeah.
What it is back in our day, we didn't have the CGI they have now. So a lot of it was left up to imagination. And now what I can think up in my scarier than any computer or what any, you know what I mean? So
I've been watching a lot of AI.
Well, yeah, but that's scary in a different way. But you know about ghosts and horror, in my mind, I could create some things that the greatest CGI couldn't even come up with, you know, in my mind. You know, so I think that's what set apart the movies that were in the 80s and early 90s compared to now was, you know, now they're trying to make it scary, but they leave nothing to the nation. You know?
I think the Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. When you go back, and I watch a lot of like there's a YouTuber I follow by the name of he has a YouTube channel by the name of Cinemassacre, and one of the he's an aspiring filmmaker. He always goes over a lot of the old horror, like he's really into all the even old horror from like the Hammer, what is it called? The Hammer horror movies from like the 60s or 70s, whatever it was, and then the old black and whites, Universal stuff like that from back in those days. And one thing that he does point out is just like it takes a real art and skill to create the type of effects, the realistic effects, practically, and how they did it. And I think the Night of the Dead was actually one of the best. I was watching some clips about it too, and I'm just like, that is how it's done. You can't do I mean, you can recreate it in CG, but I think
it doesn't
because
it's not
you know
fluid.
I think it's because you know it's CG that you're not asking yourself, I wonder how they did that.
But also, I can tell the most part because it's not fluid. You know what I mean? Like you got, when you got real fake blood, quote unquote, compared to like computer generated blood, when they throw it on somebody. You know what I mean? Well, when you look at old school movies and they had the blasting caps with the little blood packets and squib rounds.
Yeah.
And then when they try to do that now with CGI, I mean, you can tell Tim like, okay. I mean, it's good, but it's there was masturbation, right? It hits the spot, but it's not the same. You know what I'm saying? That's just
Amen. Finally, someone had to say it. That's a great terminology. Yeah.
Wow. It gets you there, but it's funner with someone else.
Right. It could have been fucked up a little bit. It could have watched something better, so to speak.
Yeah, but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's my truth.
Yeah.
No, like for instance, I remember there was this one practical effect that was done in a horror movie where they simulated somebody's head getting ran over, and all they did is they had this lifelike dummy sitting in the road, and when you put the camera at a certain angle, they had a watermelon.
Oh, nice.
So when they hit, you see what I mean?
That's creative. But that's cool. Instead of going, killer graphics, that's cool. You push the computer button. I want to go, how the fuck did they make that happen? His body's flipping today. I like to know that. You're right, man. They don't have that no more.
Yeah, it's like a 12-hour shoot for like 30-second effect. Like that's awesome. But in the 70s, there was a movie, I forget the name of it, but it was about cannibalism in South America, the Amazon or whatever. And it's so convincing that the FBI actually went to look for these victims that they thought they were filming real people being cannibalized. And
Zombie
so they got
apocalypse. Zombie apocalypse.
Oh, yeah, okay. Dude. And so they were looking into the directors, they're questioning them like, yo, what the fuck? Where are these people at? We need to see these people, make sure they're still
they put poles up their asses like Vlad the Impaler did. They put them through their asses and out their mouths at the end of the beach. Yeah. And they looked like they had flies in their eyeballs. I'm like, holy fuck. At the beginning, they took a turtle and tore a turtle apart. I'm like, why? Poor turtle. What
let me ask you a question then. So like considering like we're the same age and growing up, I'm assuming, considering your personality and character, because I wasn't a big horror guy up. I just was like I don't know, just it wasn't my thing. But for you, because I want to think about this too, like what was like your favorite horror movie?
Okay. Show and tell time.
Not your favorite.
I gotta go with Jason.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Because I remember my camera, that's weird. It's a mobile one. But as you can see, I got them all. I got the pinhead thing. That's cool. Let me do that. There's like a Jason's mask. I got Mike. Annabelle signed by the Warrens. But then if you look around here, minus the girls.
There they are. Oh, nice.
But you got Texas Chainsaw signed by the guy Jaws,
nice.
Dawn of the Dead, Halloween. I got them all up here. Pinhead is Miko to Adam. I want to play with you from Pet Cemetery.
I've been on that website.
Hey man, horror flicks and chicks, right?
There you go. Well,
even Heather says, my girl Heather, who loves you guys, Heather, 80s horror has the best booby shots.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Hey, okay, let me tell you a story when I was a kid. All right, check this. This is a true story when I was a kid. I can't remember how old I was, maybe 5, 3 or something, right? Remember the movie?
You remember the format?
Yeah, remember the movie The Blob?
You don't smoke weed.
Yeah, remember? Yeah. Where's my keys, man? So I was little, okay, remember everybody's grandma had that crochet blanket, you know what I mean? Like that yarn crocheted blanket and you could see through it, Do you have one right there? You go, exactly. I love it. And actually,
that was not planned. That was not planned. That was not fucking. I did not plan that.
This was divine intervention right here, bro. Okay, so remember The Blob and like one of the opening sequences where they have the girls on the raft, they had their tits out. Remember?
Oh, that was in the what is it? The 3-part movie with 3 separate.
Yeah, dude, that's Creepshow 2. That's the raft. That's the second one. It's Creepshow 2 when they get the yellow Camaro, yellow Trans Am, and they all go swimming in that blob and he's sucking on her face. This thing grabs her face and goes, Michael.
So I kept rewatching that, right? And then I'm like, every time the girls come out, I put that blanket on. I could see right through it. And my aunt, she goes, "Oh my God, you like this movie, huh?" I go, "Yeah." And then she realized, she's like, "Wait a minute, what the fuck are you doing, you pervert?"
You pervert. Little pervert.
Like, well, at least
He wasn't even scared.
like at least it was a dude. You should be happy. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? And then so I remember that. And I still have the blanket, by the way. I inherited it. My grandma passed away. Swear to God, it's in my you know, blanket is in, one of those vacuum seal bags. You suck the air out with the vacuum cleaner, and
You need to disinfect that thing at this point.
I have it in that.
Your first boner in that blanket.
That's what I use in the. Like, yeah.
Stay warm and still
I'll
get the
never
joke.
look at
And I
you
have a
the
lot of.
same.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of wiggle room between that hole right there.
Oh my! We're talking about you though, so
Yeah.
That's you. What's up, Nomar? Nomar's an alien hunter in Maine checking in. Jimmy Pentanino's checking in from Nesper. Jimmy runs with Nesper. What's up?
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight?
alien.
Hey,
Hunter, that makes me horny. All right, Heather. Wow, that's why she's my girl. She's a nut. Like
Flesh eating.
I love it. I love
so,
it.
So real quick, we're gonna touch on a bunch of shit. We can even go over. I'm having a good time, but I want to go back. Play.B.
Yeah.
So you remember Creepshow 2 then, because that's fucking Creepshow 2. There's the Indian. Remember the Indian? They had to paint him, and he took the guy's hair off. Chief Woodenhead. Remember?
Yeah.
And then the third one, the hitchhiker. Remember the girls laying there with their tits sticking out in the bed, and the guys get the book "It" in back of them.
You know what?
I
might not remember that one. All my brain blood was in my boner, so I might not remember that.
That's all he remembered was that one part. No, but I remember
Dude, we all used to masturbate to the great 80 movies back in the day. You see titties.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? Weird science. Hello, weird science.
I still do it every other week.
Takes it back to the old school.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're bleeding
you know
this
what
week?
He does? He finds a video and then he'll scramble it himself so he can remember what it was like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he don't do YouPorn on his phone. He goes for an old VHS tape and he puts a picture in there.
I love that shit. I love it. All you can do is listen to it. You're like, yeah, there's a nipple. I see a nipple.
Oh man, that is wow. That went off the rails quick.
I got it. Anything goes. Historically Haunted Vodcast, dude. Historically Haunted Vodcast and the Apocalypse Project are like tractor pulling right now. It's killer. There's dual.
Right now, I guarantee you, somewhere around the world, some girl's shirt just came off, and she's like, "What the fuck just happened?" Right now?
Heather, comment if your shirt flew off. I wish I was in 3 hours north of you.
Wow.
So, hey, real quick, Rev, Rudy, dude, thanks for the ride, lady. Dude, I've been to all those sites. That was filmed in Bangor and Brewer and Hamden, Maine, and I've been there. I brought Danny there. I've been to the house at the end, when she drives the car in at the end, remember? And he kills her. She goes, "What do you want, money?" And the husband comes home. That's an old folks home now, a retirement home. The garage is an office.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember that because me and my cousins, we used to I wasn't big into horror, and I don't remember how it. Well, those weren't really like as scary as other things. It was kind of like more of like a B movie kind of thing. So it was just kind
of like Evil Dead, kind of a goof scare. It's kind of funny,
kind of like what Tales of the Crypt turned into on HBO. It was kind of like, here's just some little stories. And I'll tell a story about one of the only Tales of the Crypt ones that I vividly still remember. But because we used to joke around with each other with that, like we get all our arms all like this and walk, kind of sliding foot, like, "Thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride." So that's why I remember it, because of that.
You know what's funny? That's one of the basic. Well, as fucking Playboy was saying, that's one of the basic ones that kind of stuck out of the '80s and bled into the '90s. Even that went far. Then they made a couple movies. Demon Knight was good. It had Ben Miller or whatever. What the fuck's his name? Steve Miller, the comedian. The fuck's his name? He was in it, but that was good. Demon Knight was good.
Yeah, I'm unfamiliar.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to check out. I got an email. Check this out from my bank. I bought beer right before I came, and now it says, "Look, it's from Golden One Credit Union. Stay safe." They know me too. Look, bro, my life
Don't drive.
That's what a bank loves you, boy. They're like, we need your money.
You are like family there. That's good.
They love me. They're like, sucker, deposit checking.
Hey, Playboy, you remember how you said a minute ago some girl's shirt went off somewhere?
Uh-huh.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is
no, not Ben Stiller, George. It wasn't Ben Stiller. No, it was
I don't even know. I could probably Google it, but anyway.
Dennis Miller. Remember the guy who used to have an HBO show, political comedy? Dennis Miller.
Dennis Miller.
Yeah, Dennis Miller. And fucking, I couldn't think of his first name. Dennis, for God's sake.
Don't you hate when that happens? Dude, I'd be up like 3 a.m, just spontaneously wake up and like, oh, that's who, you know what I mean? Like,
your old lady's like, who's what? Go back to bed.
Me. Who are you dreaming about, motherfucker?
You want to know how naive I used to be when I was little? So I remember I used to be really into.
He's like, ew, they pee from there. Gross. Ew.
I used to really be into like Godzilla movies. They're always kind of corny. Well, my mom, or my dad, and my uncle convinced me when I was little that they were real, but they only attacked Japan, and we have nothing to worry about. So I would always go to bed thinking, I hope they don't ever come here. I hope they don't ever come here. And I don't know if that's just a kid being a kid, but I vividly remember thinking like they were real, but they only attack Japan for some reason. Like they hate the Japanese, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
So I don't know. So it's like you kind of grow up like suspending belief, like when you watch some of these movies and things like that, like they're actually real. Is there anything when you were growing up watching, like whether it was a horror movie or even like a fantasy movie, and you think, oh, this is real somewhere? Because I could remember thinking that about other movies. I'm trying to remember. I think like The Last was one of them, or Never Ending Story. Like you kind of look at those, like in a way, and that's something that practical effects that you can't do with CGI, where it's kind of like, 1985. Oh, quick thing. I actually cried at the Godzilla 1985. I don't know if you've ever seen Godzilla. Have you ever seen?
Yeah, I'll drink to that.
I actually cried at the end of Godzilla. Have you ever seen that movie?
Did you cry before or after you changed your tampon?
That's the original. That's before Creature Feature and shit, right? I think around that time, yeah.
That was it was called something else in Japan, but over here, because I think it was like the first major Godzilla. Because you remember how Batman went from being like really corny and campy in the 60s, and then in 1989 they had the Batman with Tim Burton, and that became really cool. Well, they did the same thing with Godzilla, because Godzilla became really campy after the first few movies, fighting all these weird monsters and it really being just like a comedy. And then in Godzilla 1985, they presented it as the direct sequel to the 1955 Godzilla. Oh. So a lot of the footage, they were kind of like, or they were connecting those two. So it's like they retconned everything after the first movie, and then they were kind of but it was a really good movie. And I remember the reason why I cried at the end of it was because screw you.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, look at
I need that fucking thing. But why are you crying, Rev? Come on,
No, it's
okay. Men can cry.
The way it's good. Watch it.
I got crickets over here. I got crickets over here.
But anyway, I was trying to set up a question. So the question I was trying to set up.
He almost started crying right now.
Wait, in 1985, Godzilla 1985, did he go to the US? I thought he was still in Japan.
Godzilla.
Fun fact.
These guys here.
Fun fact. Do you know what Godzilla actually means in Japanese?
Isn't that the Lord of Dragons or the God of Dragons or something? Or reptiles?
No, it's just basically, it's the combination of two Japanese words that mean whale and gorilla. So Gorilla Well.
Gorilla
Wow.
I've done that one.
Yeah. So anyways, I thought that was interesting because he doesn't look like either. But anyways, so question I was trying to get to. So like, was there anything like you remember from growing up in your more naivety, younger years where you thought like this is real, like whether it be a horror movie or anything else?
Well, that's funny. And real quick, just because I got to, this episode is brought to you by Triple Goddess Cannabis. And this joint's called Willie Nelson Medical Marijuana Dispensary and Apothecary in Brownville, Maine. Thank you for the shout out. They sponsored the show. Give me a couple of free ones. So
there you go.
My birthday a couple weeks ago, they gave me a bunch of weed. I'm like, you're gonna sponsor a weed. And real quick before I answer your show, this is why I love having podcast people on, because this quickly turned to me being the guest. But that's Rudy for you. I love
it. Especially
we're just kicking up our feet and taking. We're in the fridge already.
Especially they got two alcoholics. And actually, I'm about to tag you in this post right here. That I just does that make sense?
Do it. Can you get me?
All right, Adam Vegan. There you go.
I need to get sponsored by these fuckers. I must have about $50 worth of returnables from these guys.
Well, we're giving that sign right there because that's not in the shop. So this is who we want to be sponsored by. Have you ever had this?
On the TAP. Hams.
Hams?
Ham here. You ever had ham?
No.
The pre-prohibition, they were like super popular, super famous. They were like above Budweiser, Coors, Pabst, all that.
We're gonna do a show about.
But they didn't diversify in the prohibition, so they went under. Like Budweiser and Coors, they started making furniture and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? They diversified. Smart. Hams, unfortunately, didn't get on that train, and they went under. But they've been back now for a long time. But they're starting on the way out again because I can't find them anymore. But
yeah, anyways. But that's so
I need a care package.
Sponsors too, and we're not making any money right now.
Yeah, we're losing money.
Yeah, we're losing money.
I tell you, and not trying to be like whatever, but I was at the point where even honestly, Rachel King was the one from Candle Witch. I gotta give her a shout out, Candle Witch. She said I do sponsor. She goes, how about I give you $10 to sponsor this week's episode and send you a candle, no cost. And she goes, just do that. So for every week I got one. And then Donnie Green goes, how about I give you $500 and sponsor you for 550 weeks? I go, okay. So that's why I wear his hat. He gave me the hat stickers, and now he wants me to promote him. And it's been building because now it's like, now I'm getting ins from like, I'm not that he's helped me, but now I've had like the girl that was killed by Mike Myers in the first Halloween, Sandy Johnson. She was in Playboy 1974. I had her on 3 weeks ago. So people want to sponsor the show. I'm starting to get these people. I go, fuck, I'm going to roll with it. So now with the tours.
That's a good idea.
That's why we're partnering with you.
And that's why we're going to send you some merch, man. I know I can. You got to give us your shirt size and whatnot, man. We're going to send you some stuff.
Oh, I love it. George, who's the camera you're watching right now, George DaCosta in chat, right? He gave me the shirt. This vodka he gave me, I'm going to bring it out, right? This sat in front of Annabelle at the Warren Occult Museum for 30 days. It's Harrison vodka. It sat in this fucking... Dude, I picked it out and did a video of it, and the handle cap broke, so I had to do a shot out of it like a month ago.
Wow.
Look, it broke.
Oh, man. Was it good? Is it good, though?
Oh, yeah. It's still full. It sits in a coffin box that sat in front of Annabelle for 30. It's got a big... there's only 200 made. It's like $300 for the thing, and he sent it to me for no cost, honestly. I looked it up. And he's just a big fan. He's picking me up next week and bring me to the Warren Convention in Connecticut. And Tony Sparrow wants me to be a special guest at no cost. So you know what, dude? Right on. You know that Rudy and I'm not bragging, Rudy and Playboy.
No, I love it. I love seeing brothers doing good.
I've been with me since I was homeless. When I was with Ross in the paranormal king and stuff. Since being homeless, dying in a car accident, all that bullshit. You guys have had me on your show, sent me wrestling stuff, sent me, I got my Stone Cold hat still. I should have wore that, but Donnie gives me shit. He already checked in nice hat at him. I don't wear his hat. Donnie's a good dude, man. He wants to fly me out to Florida and spend the night with him and his huge Great Danes. And dude, the guy's a rock star. I want him to come to Maine. So real quick to get back to the fucking story, because I got ADHD and I'm stoned.
Good
Rudy
combination.
asked me, oh, look at Heather.
There it is.
Hams.com, guys.
No, we're I don't want that. Why not? So
we covering our logo now.
It's covering our logo. No, we don't. It's not that important. But
no, so what happened was hear it. Plug them.
I know we're going to do a whole show basically just dedicated to this because we actually made a song.
I'll put some effect on
you. We actually made a song when we were live performing called "I Be Going Hams," and we actually have it. If you go to Play.B production on YouTube or just type in "I Be Going Hams," you'll see it. It made a song about it, and we performed it a couple times at one of
it's a big hit, man.
And actually, if you go to our Facebook page, we actually have one of our live performances where we performed that song on there. But there was an interesting story that we have about how actually B first discovered this beer. So, but anyways, that's getting off the point. But we're gonna do a whole show about it and try to get them to sponsor us somehow. That's our goal for the year. So
for those of you listening, that's Hams with 2 M's. That's Hams with 2 M's.
Yeah, we're gonna be super thirsty. We're gonna be like, yo, like how the kids do I sound cool now? And they say, man, he's hella thirsty.
Yeah, so if you want us, so Hams, if you want this Corona bottle to be a Hams can, you know what you do.
Hey, cheers, all 3 of us. Cheers, guys. I got a new one. Cheers. Salute. Get off TikTok, for God's sake, and salute me. All right, so I want to get to my answer of what inspired me as a kid, but then I got a question for you guys, okay? Oh, I think your guys are on mute. You guys are on mute right now. I don't think you can hear me. Cheers to you, Tom. Appreciate you, Thomas. My newest client also as well. Check out the Glorious Weirdo on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the good shit. He's everywhere. They keep freezing. I noticed it. You guys' mute is on. Playa, your mute button's on. Can you guys hear me? I'm the one getting stoned and drinking here in northern Maine. Come on, guys. Hey, your mute is on. Rev, can you hear me? Anyway. All right, we've lost a couple people. We'll get them back. I don't know what's... Can you guys hear me? You're on mute. You're on mute.
There we go.
I'm a big Rode fanboy, and I've never had a Rode product, but for some reason I went to play this song through Bluetooth, and it went and froze my mixer.
Oh, I look and I'm like, I don't think they can hear me. It was on mute. I go, it's on mute. And then it froze. We're good. So real quick, let's get to the answer, and then I got a question for you guys. So Rev, growing up in Lisbon, Maine, I moved to Lisbon when I was like 5, and I lived there till I was like 20 something, almost like 23. Lisbon is this. I went to the same high school as Stephen King, right? Lisbon High School. He lived in Durham, Maine, across the river, but we shared a school. We grew up learning about the killer clown in the woods, and I thought for years there was a fucking Pennywise in our woods that watched us. And I thought that shit was fucking real. I thought everything was real. The whole red rum shit, all of that shit I thought was real. Because in Lisbon, it's a folklore. It's all Pennywise is in these woods. You're in Derry. Oh, yeah, the whole fuck. It's real shit. I heard that my whole life in Lisbon.
And that's what I was thinking, because a lot of Stephen King stuff is all centered around that area. So it would be easy to believe that. Like have you ever heard of that one story? I don't know if this is Maine. I could be wrong. But like there was these kids that showed up one day that were like blue or green. You remember that story?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they came from Inner Earth or something.
Something like that.
What? Like Martians?
Yeah, well, they were. It was a boy and a girl. They were brother and sister, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And there's dude was out in the woods, and they just came out from like out of the woods, and he took them in. But the boy died, and the little girl survived. But they were only eating like certain vegetables or whatever. And then eventually she her pigmentation started to change.
Yeah, she changed her pigmentation.
To like how our skin tells.
But they were like blue or green. I remember.
I think they were green. This was
heard that.
Yeah, this is like super, like a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah. So, anyways, but it's just like, so it's just like all these stories that that come about. They seem to be localized because you think about like here in California, it's just like, I don't know if it's just because it's such a vast space. And for a long time, a lot of people weren't as interconnected as they were in the East Coast, like how certain stories, kind of like spread and share because communities were
where it started, right? I mean,
yeah.
Think about it. People still think there are Bigfoots here, Wendigos, witches. People still think there's witches. Melon heads. There's these people with gigantic heads. They call them melon heads on Dracula Drive in Connecticut. I want to go to Connecticut, look for them. Dude, there's everything. The Dover Demon. I mean, you think about it, right? People say they see Vikings and shit off Maine, like that. What's that fucking show that they do in the island where they dig for gold? That's right off New Brunswick. That's right off Maine.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They find yes. They find things, notes from the Templar Knights and stuff there, and it's like they find shit. That's literally Maine. It's right off New Brunswick. They see USOs, unidentified submerging objects. So right away you grow up in that. And of course, with King, my senior year in high school, the History Channel was there doing the documentary on it. My librarian had a card. The last book that was checked out was by Stephen King in 1973. So he had it in a fucking case. My librarian. Dude, I went to his house. It's on Runaround Pond Road. I could bring you there for a small donation. And at the end of Runaround Pond Road is, guess what? Runaround Pond. And guess what Stephen King got there when he was a kid? Leeches. The book, The Body, a.k.a. Stand By Me, the movie. They got leeches when they go swimming.
Right.
They talk about the Shiloh. That's a church there with a big golden crown on it. It's an old, not a Jewish church, but fuck. Help me out, Rev. It's not a Christianity, but it's like a Palestinian type of religion.
A mosque?
It's something like that. It's got a cemetery up front. It's got a gold crown. It says the truth on it. It's not Arabian. Maybe Arabic. I think it's Arabic. Does that sound? That sounds right.
Yeah.
It's called the Shiloh, and it's that's talked about in some shit. So yeah, man, Maine's got some odd shit. I've grown up around here. I've seen some weird shit. You know what I mean? And I think that's what keeps you going, because I have faith. I have faith in God. I have trust in everything. Fucking what I've been through. My mom died. Half my family died in front of me. My friends have cut their back on me. I've been cheated on. I died in an accident for 38 seconds. I was homeless. What the fuck else you got for me? Suck Satan's cock? I don't think so. I'm good, man. I'll make it.
Out of his bit though, huh?
And people are like, wow, you have a house? And I go, yeah, I live in a trailer. I pay $255 a month rent. That's not 1,000, that's 100, yo. People hear that and they go, where do you live? I go, shut up. There's only like fucking 400 people in this town. And it's quiet though. I don't have a lot. There's a Dunkin' Donuts. There's a pizza place. There's a cemetery. There's a grocery store.
400 people in town. There's like 1,500 kids in our high school.
Wait. Okay, so let's back up here. How big was your high school up?
There was 103 kids per, so 420 kids probably. There's 100 kids per. Like as a freshman, I remember I was like 102nd or whatever.
That's like our PE class. Right?
Wow.
I realized that when I go to Boston and New York and Iowa on road trips, I go, holy fuck, this many people live in this world? Once you leave Maine,
that is crazy. I can't imagine. We live in a small area in California, and our high school, I think, was what 2,300,
something like that. And that was in a small town.
Yeah, that was in
like
a small town in
California.
There's no small town in California. Get the fuck out of here.
But I totally understand what you're saying, because I was on the opposite end of that when I went to Idaho not too long ago. I'll go to Idaho and I'm like, where's everybody at? Like, what the fuck? Where's the people at? You know? And then when I get into town, I'm like, oh shit. And one thing I noticed, no one's in a hurry over there. Everybody just.
I've been to Iowa. It's from Portland, Maine to Des Moines, Iowa. It's 22 hours nonstop. Me and Chris Sanders went. We went to go see the Axe Murder House from 1916. And then guess what happened halfway through? About the time that we hit Ohio, fucking Corona hit a nationwide outbreak. So by the time we get to Iowa, guess what? We sat in a hotel for a week and a half. But we get to see the bass player Paul Gray from Slipknot. We get to see his grave. We get to see where Jesse James did the first ever robbery by horseback in American history. Right. Robert Frayne in Iowa, Amir, Iowa. We saw the birthplace of Clint Eastwood. Oh, not Clint Eastwood. John Wayne. Hello, Pilgrim. We saw the house he was built. He was born at.
Same difference.
Whatever the fuck. We saw the bridge from Madison County. So, you know me, I'm a sightseer. I love seeing shit. I look up wherever the fuck we're at. But yeah, that sucked. But I tell you what, to get to real quick, they'll cut you off, Playboy. But once you get to like certain parts of Ohio, Iowa, there's not a lot of people in the Midwest either. Mid-coast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, no, yeah. Well, that's where I'm saying. No, I was in Idaho. My niece lives near, and she lives in Rome, and it was just a total culture shock because here I am, bro. There's everything's like a two-lane road. Everybody's going like 25 miles an hour, and I'm like, yo, I have to shit so bad. I just drove 10 hours, and I'm like, can we just hurry up? You know, and I'm trying to pass up everybody, you know, and it's like, damn. But it was fun. I like that. I might want to move out there.
Yeah, I tell you, it's a different field. Dylan says, "What's up, everybody? Awesome topic." We're kind of rapping here. He's in. He's in shit. He's in Paranormal from Chicago, and Thomas is part of our group. He's he's one of my clients, and he's hanging out with Charles right now. What's up, Charles? Charles is the one running the Salem Con in the murder trolley. He asked me, he's like, "Do you want to come to Salem Con in Salem, Massachusetts, November 11th, to be a speaker and have a table?" I'm going to be a speaker, guys, for the first time. I'm going to be up there in a little suit talking to people like I know what I'm talking about. So I don't know.
Wow. I got to think.
It's going to rain. It's going to rain.
Wait, is it going to be a sleeveless suit?
It's going to be a duct tape.
I mean, like, have this, stay true to yourself, but I may wear a leather coat or something. I don't know yet. But it isn't Salem, so at the same time, you can go up in a thong and people aren't going to care. It's fucking Salem. But
you know, there's nothing wrong with, you know, you can be yourself, but yeah, you can evolve as well. You know, I'm a big proponent of that. You know,
I want to show people I'm legit, and that's what I guess we're talking about, because you guys have seen me mature, and you guys are the same way. You guys are pretty family oriented. You guys have your faith. You guys have, you know, what's going on in life. And real quick, shout out to your father, Rev. This shows to him too, man. I know I didn't make him, but just like with my mom, family's family. And you've been nothing but nice to me. Both of you guys have been so sweet to me in the 4 or 5 years I've known you guys. So your family's my family. Got to be since before COVID, right?
I'm still waiting for my anniversary roses.
Well, no, and that's something actually I wanted to invite you on at another time, because we actually, just for a plug for our show, we have an episode we're going to be releasing later tonight that is going to be your episode that what we did where we talked about death metal, where we actually did a death metal. So so watch out for that through this weekend. We're going to put that on Facebook tonight and then YouTube tomorrow on our the Apocalypse Project podcast Facebook and YouTube page. But one of the things that I want to talk to you about in a future episode, and maybe with some other, like I know we have a friend in.
Oh, you there? Oh, did you freeze? Thank you, Gene. I appreciate that. I'm nervous, and I'm going to be doing the Saturday spot with Nathaniel Elwell and stuff, talking a little bit about it, but I'm nervous, and I appreciate the opportunity. I know I'll do white, and I want to present myself to them and show them what I got, and show the people that don't know me what I got.
Back.
There you go. You're back. You froze for a second.
My internet fell out. I don't know what it is. Well, I think partly it's because we moved.
I'm the one living in the northern woods of Maine here. Jesus Christ.
California, everything's.
I know.
Looks
I'm like,
nice,
do you want to use
cheaper.
my mobile hotspot? I'm like, oh,
yeah, maybe, but no, I got all. I got all the service. What happened is because when we first met, we were in a studio in another location. We were actually underground in our last studio.
We were in our bunker,
and
we had better reception.
And we had better reception. So now we're in a bigger space. But the problem is
more Wi-Fi.
The internet here in this area, it's not just. It's even with cell phones. We're just live in a really weird area, so I might have to change my provider, unfortunately. But anyways, I was saying, one of the things I was saying, and thank you so much for sharing the page. I actually saw that you were sharing the page, so I appreciate that.
Oh, hey, real quick, just so you guys don't feel rushed, man. I'm chilling here Friday night. I'm allowed 2 hours. We don't have to go the whole 2 hours, but we can go a half hour over if you guys get time. We don't have to end it in 5 minutes. We can go another 20 minutes if you don't mind. I'm just sitting here and fucking. I'm bored. I'm gonna end up masturbating like Rev said earlier, like Playboy said earlier. Heather's, I can't, you know. Speaking of my girl Heather, who doesn't mind if I do masturbate, she shared your guys' thing here.
Oh, perfect.
Nice.
Thank you.
Right
Thank
on.
you very much.
We need all the help we can get.
I know, right?
No, not really. Well, real quick, I want to get. I've been dying to ask you this the whole fucking episode. And we do get time.
Sorry.
Where were you guys in the streets? Like, is that like Mardi Gras type of scene where you guys are just walking around?
That was downtown Modesto.
Yeah. So we're actually the studio.
There's more people downtown that night than in your whole town.
I know, right? I know. So, maybe that's why it seems like it was such a big crowd for him. But no, our studio is located in Turlock, California. We're originally from. We both went to Ceres High School, which is a town just north of here, in between Turlock and Ceres. Turlock and Modesto, and we actually, for a while, our old studio was in Modesto. We're pretty much from Modesto.
Yeah.
So Modesto, California, very famous for very few things. Like
we got wine, we got George Lucas,
and Lacey Peterson, Scott Peterson.
And there's like seven different authors that came out of Modesto that are big time. Then we have the McHenry's mansion, the McHenry people. They were pretty big.
Well, are you guys like by LA at all, or like by San Bernardino or Oakland?
No. We're way north. We're by like San Francisco area, the northern.
You know where San Francisco is? Go 80 miles east into the valley. That's pretty much where we are. So we're like about an hour south of Sacramento. We're about 2 hours north of Fresno, about 80 miles east of San Francisco. So we're pretty much like right in the dead center of the valley in California, like pretty much the middle of the state.
Yeah.
And where it's hot and dry in the summer, and the only time we get any relief is during the winter.
But to be fair though, even in the summer in the evenings, it does get in 60s. So it's not too bad.
So, but anyway, so we were at first Friday thing that they do downtown in Modesto. His sister has a business where she does like shirt printing and cups and things along those lines, so she's always there. So we just decided, hey, let's we're trying to diversify our show here. So let's just go out and take a microphone and a camera, and
you'd be surprised.
People were like,
they were pulling us over.
Hey, come talk to me. I was like, all right. So we're just walking around talking to people. Like,
so what though? Like, you guys just talking about random shit.
So we're trying to.
It was cool because each vendor had their own niche, there was like a robotics class for like a high school there. There was,
there was a Star Trek fan club.
Yeah.
That does charity work. So
that's so bizarre. Honestly, dude, if I take a left or right out of my driveway, once I get out of this little park here, it takes me a good 45 minutes to an hour before I get to my first red light or stop sign.
No way.
Wow.
Once I do, it's like Dover Foxcroft, right? Which is a cute little town. They got a little center theater with 2 theaters. You go in, they got popcorn. The dude wears a red hat. It's like they have the Whoopie Pie Festival there. You know where Whoopie Pie is? It's like cake with frosting. And then you go to Dexter. Dexter, okay, that's where they have the Red Hot Dog Festival. You ever had a red hot dog? They call them red snappers.
No. I'm into chicks, man.
No, hey, you dickhead. So listen, that's where they have Dexter shoes there. They made a shoe for Shaquille O'Neal, the basketball player. That's where Creep Show 2, the beginning, they have a clock tower there, and the creep drives up in the truck, and the little kid drives up on his pedal bike, and he gives him the things out of the back of the truck. There's a little brick building. That's downtown Dexter, like the serial killer from the show. Dexter Marine.
Okay.
So I go there and people go fucking ooh ah, and I mean, not that I want to take their money, but if I know this shit and you don't, and you want to come to me and you want to see it, give me some fucking dough, and I'll bring you to see the tallest Paul Bunyan statue that was CGI'd in it too. But it's in Bangor, the water pipe, Stephen King's house, the dream inspired by that's on Jackson Street, dude. If you just want to learn shit, I think the East Coast is where it's at. You guys come down, especially where you're officially part of Historically Haunted Booking. I would give you a free tour. I just to hang out with you guys. You've been so humble and nice to me. You guys see yourself coming to Maine anytime soon? I always ask my guests. Do you see yourself coming to Maine?
I don't know anytime this year, but for sure, maybe we could try to get out there next year.
We've been thinking about that. Like one of the things that I would have loved to do is to fly you out to come and look at some of the things out here, because I'm pretty sure that would be interesting for you. I think one of the things that I enjoy doing, there's a little town that's up in the foothills.
Don't say Columbia.
Why?
That's my favorite fucking place. I don't know why, dude. I'm obsessed with like the 1860s and 80s, 1890s, the cowboy area out here, the gold rush, all that shit, the old gunslingers. I'm infatuated with that time era. So this town has been established in 18 whatever the fuck, and it's never closed down. It's still operational till this day.
It's pretty much a historical landmark.
And then so everybody that still lives and operates in there, they have to dress in the time period. So I told my wife last time, dude, go to my YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel, and you see like I took my cousin out the first time, and you can kind of get an idea of what it's like.
Yeah.
And so I told my wife, everybody's out there dressed in period clothing, right? And I go, how many times we pass somebody, we think they're a reenactor? Because because it's an operation town, people still live there.
They take a lot of school films up there.
But in order to live there, you have to dress of the period, when the tourists are around. So I go, we could have ran into ghosts and never even known. You know what I mean? We could have probably passed the old cowboy ghost or somebody, and we would never even known because everybody's dressed in that time. You know what I mean? They even have guys out there with like a little campfire, just like old miners, because it was old miners.
Almost like Amish style, kind of like horse and buggy, right?
Yeah.
Well, that ghost town, right? Is that what a ghost town would be? A ghost town?
Picture an operating ghost town. Nothing's dilapidated. Everything's stayed. They try to keep it up. But
it's basically like an old west town you see in the movies. It's pretty much exactly like that with people walking around there.
But everything's authentic. Everything's of the period.
They have a little saloon. They have an actual they have a period bowling alley that's really cool where it's kind of like it's really small, but it has a way they would have played it in the Old West. And then the interesting thing about it, they actually have a blacksmith. They actually have blacksmith that actually worked in the shop there.
It's badass.
Oh my god, hitting on horseshoes and shit. Cling, 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 cling.
You can buy horseshoes there. They'll put the date and your name or whatever on it.
Yeah, and then they also have one of the interesting things that then they have the gel. Remember the little 2-cell gel they have there made out of the rock. That's kind of cool. And then one of the things that I enjoy going up because as you're going up. As you're going, there's a schoolhouse, an actual period schoolhouse that you can walk into the entrance, but they have it glassed off, but they have everything in there as it would be for the kids during that time. And then right up the hill from that is the cemetery. So we go up and I like just going and looking at the cemetery.
I haven't been to that point yet. I'm trying to save it for because last time when I took my cousin, and in that video on YouTube, you can check it out. He was like taking pictures of the school, and he said he saw somebody in the window. Ooh. And then we go up there, and of course no one could be into that part of. You could go into the entrance, but it's all glassed off, And anyway, so you got to check it out. I'll send you the link to it, and you can kind of get an idea.
Yeah, but it's love. It's like if we ever had a chance to bring you out here to go to places like that. There's also the Winchester Mystery House. I don't know if you've ever heard of Sarah Winchester and familiar with that.
She's buried in Connecticut with her family because they made the guns. Yeah.
Yeah, so she built that house in San Jose, California, which is about 60 miles west of us in San Jose, California, which is in the Bay Area. So it would be. I just would love for you to experience some of the things that we have out here. But I can't think of there's much than that. Another in Colombia,
the Whaley House.
The which one?
The Whaley one. The Whaley House in San Diego, where they hung people. It's an old courthouse. They say it's the most haunted house in America.
I've not heard that one.
I've heard of it, but I don't know the backstory.
But in Colombia,
Will's vagina. That's what I heard on Anchorman.
Wait, what?
In the movie Anchorman with Will Ferrell, he goes, San Diego means Will's vagina. She goes, I don't think it means that. I don't think it does either. I think sand means father, right? Padre, right?
At least we got you away from the hot dog.
It's been a long day, guys.
Oh man. No, there's just so much things that. What's interesting is I love talking to you when we're on a show because it's just like the conversation.
It feels like we're just catching up, like a bunch of old friends, getting together over a beer and catching up. That's.
Can I ask you guys for one more beer? Can we go to 9:30? Can I get 25 minutes out of you guys? You think that's cool?
Yeah. You can have us for as long as you want.
Yeah,
we won't charge you extra.
You sound like Heather. That's why I got Heather. Got a son of a bitch. That's why I'm the champion of the world.
Or another beer. Do you guys want to step away and grab a beer?
Right. Maybe now. Have you heard of this one? It's 9.9%.
Which? Oh no, I've seen it, but I haven't had. Is that the fruity one though?
Dude, for 9.9% for $2, take my fucking money. I don't care if it tastes like dog shit. For 9.9%.
Well, because my brother-in-law, my cousin-in-law rather, he turned me on to the Voodoo Ranger because we went to what was it called, Texas Roadhouse to have some dinner, and he goes, "Oh man, you want to get a strong stout beer, get you a little buzz on before you eat, get that one." So I got it, and I actually liked it. Right?
Did you actually get a buzz though?
No. And I ended like with 6-pack. But they're being
hey, Rev, tell me, is this girl a singer, model, wrestler, or actress?
All the above.
Wait, is that Stratus?
Damn, I'll take a bite of this. I need a beer now. Damn it.
Who is that? Oh yeah, now I know. I know. That's like
Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose.
Oh, bro. Okay.
I don't have a certificate with it, but I got it for a Christmas gift. That and Scarlet from one of my friends. And then she quit wrestling. Do you watch it still, Rev? What do you stand on the whole new, like Vince being gone? Does that make you sad with Vince not owning it?
It's an end of an era. But the one thing that I've paid attention to is like there's a lot of comments from older wrestlers like Goldberg and Bret Hart that have basically come out and bashed current wrestling. And it caused me to think, because I've been thinking about this for a while too. I'm not, because I follow a lot of wrestling Facebook pages, and they always put up these articles, and they put up 2 articles. One was Bret Hart, and one which I'm a huge fan of Bret Hart, and another one is Goldberg. And I can care less because I don't think Goldberg was a great worker anyways. But
he was kind of cocky. He only had a couple of moves. He wasn't like, no.
Well, no, not even that. I just think it was just his look. He was one of those guys that was just built right, but he wasn't a good worker. And the fact that if you could concuss and retire Bret Hart, you are not a good worker, because Bret Hart protected himself, and he was a great worker, and he knew what he was doing in the ring, and he made everybody look good. The fact that Bill Goldberg, and this is my opinion,
you don't like
the
Falcon?
Playboy.
The fact that he Bret Hart, he has gone down in my book as one of the worst wrestlers. One of the greatest wrestling matches I've ever seen was when William Regal, I think it was, Steven Regal, I think it was at the time in WCW, made him look like a joke. And then that's why William Regal got fired, because he exposed Goldberg's lack of.
You're talking about Bill Goldberg,
the wrestler. But anyways,
I like when he brought the whole Falcons team out. Remember they all came out on Harleys.
Goldberg's kind of the commercialized wrestler. He's like the face. He's not the real deal. Like Regal's like the blue collar wrestler, blue chip, old school, punch in the mouth, like Bo Holly was.
But I have been because I'm not into wrestling like I used to be. I started getting a little bit into it when when AEW come up, because this is interesting. This is like competition, because the Monday Night Wars is what really pushed wrestling to the height they had never seen. Even though in the 80s during the golden era, it was just unbelievable. Like wrestling was just a sideshow carnival attraction, and then it moved into this worldwide entertainment where you had celebrities and people just appearing on it where they wouldn't before, because it was seen as a freak show. But in the 80s, it began, and in the 90s during the Attitude Era, wrestling hit a high that even surpassed the golden era in the 80s. So when you look at it now, the only saving grace, and I've become a huge fan. So I may not watch it on a regular basis, but I pay attention. I am a huge fan of LA Knight. And everybody, LA Knight. Everybody, he's trying to be like Stone Cold and The Rock, but I'm just like, well, that's what we need right now, though. You need somebody with that level of charismaticism and excitement and energy, and it can talk. That is the difference. That what makes a good wrestler into a great wrestler. Imagine for a second if a wrestler like the Ultimate Warrior, who had the look, who had the charisma, who had the excitement, but could actually be a good talker. He wasn't a great worker. I'll take that back in retrospect. But at the same time, he wasn't a great worker, or he wasn't a great talker, because nobody knew what the hell he was talking about half the time. But I think what's really lacking is just that everybody has seen behind the curtain. You know,
Got to put a soundtrack because
everybody's have seen. So
Rudy's really passionate.
I am, because
so without a soundtrack, there's no passion. So you got to have some music.
When it breaks it down, to, like, if you were to ask me who is my favorite woman wrestler of all time, I think I would have a list. I think I would put Tori Wilson on there. I'd put Trish Stratus. I'd put Chyna. I think besides that, Lita. I'd put Lita on there. But then again, those are all wrestlers that I grew up with. Like, I know
Charlotte, 15-time.
Okay, Charlotte Flair, I think has the I don't know. It's just
she's better than her dad was. She's better than Ric Flair as far as physical wise.
I don't know. See, this is what I mean. I don't know if it's just prejudice, because when you're growing up with something, there's more attachment to it. I didn't grow up with Charlotte Flair. I didn't grow up with even John Cena. I didn't grow up with Batista. I didn't grow up with those people. So I didn't. By the time the Ruthless Aggression era happened, I was already like married and having other fun. So it's kind of like wrestling got pushed to the back. Not that
he
I did.
Said other fun.
Other funds.
His marital relations.
but so it was.
So you were getting your carrot wet? Is that what you're having other fun? Pervert.
But you know what I mean? So and it's the same thing too. And like, let's say, for instance, like with the Ninja Turtles, like it's the same because I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. I got my Ninja Turtle stuff up here.
He's gonna turn into go get your turtle show.
But it's the same thing too. Like the Michael Bay movies were garbage, and everybody said they were garbage. But like,
I think they were too overdone.
But like
when Michael Bay was,
I think
even Transformers.
I haven't seen Mutant Mayhem, but I think like it's the same thing. I think that was good, but I think it just depends on you prefer the things you go up with. But when it comes to wrestling, I really think that I think it's overproduced. If that makes sense. Think about it. So when you watch old wrestling from the 80s and 90s, and the camera work isn't as in your face, it is the quality is in high definition, because when you're high definition, you can actually see, wait,
that didn't really hit him.
That's all air there. But when you're watching it on low definition, and when you're watching it, you know, with basic camera work, you could build that illusion. But when you have close shots in high definition,
4K,
it just takes away.
The camera goes in and out real quick too when they do stuff. They run it like shaky. It's like,
I hate that too. That's another innovation they started doing.
Well, they're trying to build dramatic effect. You know, they do that in action.
But
dude, back then you didn't need storylines. Not everybody had to despise everybody they beat up. They just fought. They didn't shake hands, but they had a match. Dude, you can't go through one Monday Night Raw without someone interfering in a fucking match. It's like, okay, we get it.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, you know, that's what turned me like when I was younger. Of course, you know, it was WWF. Then as I got older, back into the 90s, I was all WCW, because WWF to me was more like a soap opera. You know what I mean? It was just like
it really went the dramatic studio way.
You could kind of already like know what's going to happen the next week based on prior what happened the week before. You know, so it's kind of like, meh.
Well, the stars. So here's what happened: the stars aligned, because had not certain talent been in the WWF at the time, the Attitude Era would have never have happened.
I agree.
So Stone Cold went from being the ringmaster, who went from being a part of ECW, who went from being a part of the Hollywood Buns in WCW, and just getting pushed aside by every promotion. So he had a chip on his shoulder. Had he, and this is one of the interesting things to think about, had none of those things happened to Stone Cold before he became Stone Cold, he probably would have never have been Stone Cold. Because what fueled the attitude behind the character Stone Cold, not just a character, there was real sentiments of being tired of being pushed around. Because when you look at some of his promos in ECW before he went to WWF, they were the prototype Stone Cold, because he would talk and bash, especially about WWF and Hulk Hogan, and that was the prototype Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then once he got to the WWF, and he was allowed to be able to break free of the creative control that they had, and said, "I'm going to do this," then that's where it all happened. And the same thing with The Rock. I think giving characters that kind of liberty, I think was good. And I think that's not what was happening after the Attitude Era. I think there was a lot too much control. Like, for instance, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time is Goldberg. I'm not Goldberg, sorry.
I was going to say.
No, Goldust. Sorry, Goldust. I really like the character Goldust. And why? Because there was a lot of mystique behind it. Like, think about it. It's the same story. He wasn't just playing a character. He put a lot of emotions into it, partly because him and his dad hated each other. So he wanted to do something to despise his dad. And then what other than being an androgynous character to kind of like spite your father? And he owned it and worked with it. And I think that's something I don't think you have with the current professional wrestling. You don't have that. Everybody is.
Man, I was thirsty.
Well, I cheers, brother. Rev, not to cut you off, I think that's like that with everybody in life. I think that's where life mimics art. And I think you get the real people that really want to fight for are the ones that have been fighting for things their whole life. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I think that's true.
That does make a lot of sense.
I just don't know, like, other than LA Knight, and I think there was a good promo that was happening between LA Knight and The Miz. I think that was really good, and that could have been turned into something, but I don't know whatever came of it. I think part of the problem, and some of the criticisms that I've seen in the creative team in WWF or WWE, is that you have LA Knight who's on the cusp of becoming that next big thing, and they just keep holding him back. Put the title on him. Just give him the title. Let him run with it.
The crowd is drooling. He's the #1 merchandise seller. People love him. Between him and Seth Rollins, the two biggest fucking pops you get. LA Knight is the new Austin, in my opinion. George, I love his background too. The Annabelle. George is a big supporter. If George will like you guys, he'll buy anything. George buys shit off Heather, me. Dude, he's bringing me down to the Warren Con. He's buying my hotel room with him. He's bringing me back. George, every time someone comes on my show, they go, George just bought my book. He bought the girl's book. I mean, he'll buy your shit. Not that that's why you want to have him, but and I don't mean that, George, any disrespect. But George is loyal. And Apocalypse Project, these fucking cats, Reverend, not to get personal, but he's legit like a reverend. He's really type. And Rudy, well, and Playboy's really a playboy. So they're both real as they get, I think. They're both real people, man. I mean, you guys are really legit. I don't want to get personal, but you guys are two of the coolest people I know. I'm really blessed to know and call you friend. We got about 15 minutes to go. The reason why I say that, dude, is because you trusted me. You could be like, yo, pay me back that 180. But you're like, no, take me and him on. You're representing us. Don't worry about it. You have faith in me. I went from living behind a flea market in a rundown fucking, not to get personal, but like a rundown bullshit RV, contemplating suicide, to owning my home, paying shit for rent, owning 2 cars, working part-time, and getting to do tours and booking and VODCAST, get paid for a little bit, and to get to meet some of the best people. My own family don't talk to me. I don't even talk to my sisters. I haven't talked to my stepsister. No, man. I don't know. They don't like I chase ghosts, whatever. They don't like I smoke weed. Fuck them. But I got people like you, and I just want to say, man, not to get emotional, but I know you guys are deep, but I love you guys, man. I do.
No, and I was saying, honestly, I think me and Red, we're the type of people that have heart on our sleeve, or how they say you wear your heart on your sleeve. Yeah. But honestly, we're the type of cat, bro, that if I wouldn't make up, bro, if you got here, you want to walk and fucking in one of our houses. You're like, fuck it. That's that's just how we are, though. Like we love deep. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does. You guys are, and we're having fun here. We're having laughs and we're talking life. But when it comes down to it, you guys are good people. And when it comes down to it, man, you know what I'm saying. I surround myself with good people. There's a lot of people in this field where I don't give a fuck. And I'm blowing up, dude. I'm getting invited by Tony Sparrow to go to the Warren Con. I'm getting invited by Charles to be a speaker.
Yeah.
We didn't get a publicist.
And there was something that I was going to allude to earlier, was that I do want to have a sit down with you and also with Father Kenny Torres, because I really want to examine this from a paranormal aspect, especially from you, who's somebody that is really familiar with this and having the tragedy that you've dealt with your mom, and then also with your own personal struggles, and then with Kenny and understanding, you know, especially as somebody who's in the clergy and dealing in the paranormal, and how all that works and how we handle grief. You know, because I, like, even with myself and going through the loss of my father, then being at a point, you know, years ago when I was going through therapy and wondering, should I just end it all? Because it just seems like that would be easier, because this is really hard to really go through what I was going through at the time, and just to really sit down and understand and have a really, like, connect the deep, thoughtful question on how we handle grief and despair. Because I think that's vitally important. That's what a lot of people deal with. And sometimes it feels like such a depth that you feel like there is no other option but just to find out maybe there's peace. But is there really peace? Does that really bring peace? And I say no. It actually ultimately brings even more chaos and troubles and disturbance. But anyways, but that's what I was thinking about, you know, doing in the future show. But what I do want to say is that, like, we wear our heart on our sleeves. That's true. So if there's anything you want to ask, like, I am, like, whether it be theology, personal, anything, we're pretty much an open book.
Okay, well, I want to ask you this, both you legitimately, and you've talked a lot. We'll let Playboy go first. But what? No, listen. What both of you guys, and let you think about this, Rev, Rudy, you know me. What keeps you going? Obviously, you have girls, you got kids, all that shit. At the end of the day, when you go to bed, when you, like, what do you really, like, what do you think? Like, what do you, I don't know, man.
Well, you know,
I wish I had a child, and I don't. I'm 44. I love Heather to death. She's got 2, and I consider her children mine. I love her daughter, both her daughters. But then I'm like, I lost my child to miscarriage about 10 years ago.
Oh, man.
I'm not with the mother anymore. I've been with Heather for about 6 years. Our anniversary just came on October 13th, Friday the 13th. So we watched Jason together. Nice. Yeah, we watched Jason in the movie theater. They had a drive-in movie in Westbrook, Maine, October 13th, Friday the 13th. And it was our first date. And we started going out. I met her daughter on Halloween. And, excuse me, my mom loved her. My mom loved her, man. And I want to ask you guys this, not to get personal. Where do you see yourselves next year? Is it because of family? Do you guys see yourself making more, maybe like shows, movies, meet and greets, conventions? Oh, and it froze up on me. Here we go.
We're back on.
Okay.
So what do you guys hope to see yourself? I want to bring you back on real quick. Where do you guys see Sir Rev and Playboy with Apocalypse Project podcast, or just in life? Where do you see yourself?
Okay, well, you know, like I alluded to it earlier, you know, for one is the fuel that lights my fire, right? Of course, right? Excuse me. But aside from that, what keeps me going, what makes me continue to move on every day is my dreams. Meaning, you know, I hate to call them visions, because I'm not no visionary in any sense of the word. But like I said, I had that dream with you. Me and Rev, we went out there, we shot. Aside from just podcasts, you know, maybe do some videographies, you know, whatever. We have music production know-how already. Yeah. So what keeps me going are my dreams. However little or however big they are. Honestly, I know that may sound cliche, but as long as you can dream it, bro, if you can think it, you can do it. And I remember hearing this one, I forgot his name, but he goes, you know what, bro? He goes, you're this far from your goals. And I go, what do you mean? And he goes like this, look, he put the, well, not to me, but in the story, he put the finger.
No, but that's a great metaphor.
He put the fingers right here. He goes, look, it's right here. It's just right there. All you got to do is get outside your mind and make it happen. You know, if you can think it, you can do it. And if you could dream it, you can be it. Amen. Right? So that's what makes me continue to go on, bro, is having a dream, having something to focus on in the future, you know, but not allowing that to blind me to everything else. Of course, life has to go on, and it goes on around. But that gives me something to aim at. You know what I mean? That's so, and that changes it day to day, you know, like it'd be a small dream today. Tomorrow I might have an epiphany or whatever, and be like, yo, let's shoot this documentary with Adam. If we get out, whenever we get out there, we're bringing all our film equipment and everything.
Oh my God, dude. I've been with Betty and Barney Hill, the first black and white couple, but the first ever documented UFO abduction case. I've been to their gravesite, their house in Portsmouth, their gravesite, and all you motherfuckers will fucking hook you up. I've been to. That's what I'm saying, dude. 3 years ago, I'm fucking half dead behind an RV with no one in my life. My sisters aren't talking to me. My mom's dead. My Heather broke up with me. Then Ross calls me. You want to talk on my radio show? Sure. Then I talk with him. He goes, you want your own show? Historically Haunted Show. I did a show. Now I got a podcast. Now I'm doing tours. Now I'm doing booking. Now I'm getting paid. I go, holy fuck. I should be dead.
All you had to do was just hang on one more day, you know, and I'm a big proponent of mental health, you know, and if anybody out there, I know today may seem hopeless or helpless, but if you could just hang on till tomorrow, you know what I mean? A lot of people, you know, what's bothering us today in a week may not be a big deal, you know what I mean? Or in a year or whatever. I'm a big proponent of that because I suffer from mental health issues, depression, anxiety, all that shit, you know, and so I'd have to remind myself periodically throughout the days, like, you know what's going on in my life right now is not going to last forever. It's only temporary. They just hang on till tomorrow. You know what I mean?
You got a great podcast, a great sense of humor, great, beautiful girls. I've seen your woman. Your kids are amazing. You guys get great life, but life is hard. And I think there's only one place to really look. Rev, you got to occur with me that we love having fun here. We're having our beers, but man, you got to keep the faith, right, brother?
Yeah, that keeps going is primarily is I believe that so for me, my faith is paramount. When I mean by my faith, of course, being somebody who relies heavily on God and the Bible. So it's just like that's where my purpose is ultimately found in realizing what my true identity is, because it would be very easy to get stuck in your head by these false identities that you people or even by your own self, where you think like, okay, well, you know, oh God, I made a stupid mistake. I must be dumb, or I must be this or this. And that was like, well, no, it's like you stick to the identity in which you stand on a theological side. So if, like, for instance, you know, I believe in God and the scripture. So therefore I believe that therefore I'm a high priest. I'm a son of the king. All inheritance has been given to me. If you read Ephesians chapter 1 and 2, you know, I'm an heir with Christ. So, and you think about those things, and especially if you believe that God is sovereign and in control, that everything that happens in your life is a part of what is called the eudokia, which basically means a part of God's goodwill and counsel, that there is nothing that happens in our life that is outside of the sovereignty and control of God. And all we got to do is just bow knee and say, whatever it is that you have today in the middle of this situation, I will trust you in the midst of it. Because I think if you don't have something that anchors you, like a real solid anchor, because when the storms come, they're going to want to toss you to and fro. And that's what you got to hold on. There has to be something that's going to be able to hold you in place in the middle of the storm. And that's where I feel like my theology holds me there in that time. Because, yeah, I have my kids, but my kids are going to grow old and they're going to depart. Or I'm going to be an empty. My wife may one day not be with me. She may die, or whatever the case. I can't control those situations. The one thing that I can only stand on is what I feel is certain, and that is faith in Scripture.
You know, and that's crazy.
I want to hug both you fucking bastards right now so bad. I love you guys, man. You don't even know, like Rudy, Playboy. Like, I've known you. Like, I have guests on, and a lot of them are first timers. I'm like, hi, my name's Adam, but you guys fucking know me. And I can talk about an hour with you guys.
Like I said, when we get together, it doesn't feel like we're doing a show. It just feels like we're catching up, you know, like old friends getting together, you know, and it's like no time's gone by. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. That's how I feel personally.
Rudy, where can people find you guys before we go? We can go another 10 minutes. I'm allowed to go to 9:40, so we can go another 10 minutes. But where can people find you guys? On what platforms and under what handle?
Well, the biggest thing is so you could all of the podcasting websites like Spreaker, what is it?
Spreaker, SPREA, like speaker with an R.
Yeah, Spreaker.
So iHeartRadio. You know what? If you just hold on, check this out. I'm going to say the trigger word for a home device starts with the A. So if you ask Alexa, say, "Hey Alexa, play the Apocalypse podcast," she'll start playing our show. You ask Google.
Shit.
Yeah. Do you have an Alexa or a Google Home? You can ask them, hey, okay.
No.
You can say, okay, Google, play the Apocalypse Project podcast, and then it'll start playing it. iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, anywhere you listen.
If I yell to it like play lesbian porn, it'll play lesbian porn.
And you're gonna see me surrounded by a bunch of women, and I'm gonna convert them all.
Hey, thank you. Whatever gets the job done.
I'm gonna ruin sex for all your guys' girlfriends right here.
Hey, Oliver Anthony says, "Girl, it's been a long week."
If it's not hurting, you're doing it wrong.
But if you want to get the full experience of our show, I think the best way to do it is to watch on YouTube, like and subscribe on YouTube.
Well, look at this beautiful set. Like
I know, we spent all
this right here. There's a YouTube video on our TAP YouTube channel. We made this.
You guys, oh, I love it. I want to get that tattooed. You know,
there's lights behind it. And we make our own sets. We kind of come together. We have no budget, so we got to build everything from like Home Depot, MDF, and spray paint.
I see you post walking out of the truck. You're like, Showtime. I'm like, oh, that's my boy. Well, that's my boy. No, so you guys have a random routine though, so everybody knows like what's your weekly schedule, monthly schedule.
It's kind of it's been hard lately because I'm right now I'm on graveyard, so like today I only got 3 hours of sleep before I came on to do your show.
We had you lost your aunt, I lost my dad, so we've just been like in a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah,
right
we've
now.
had a lot of funerals going on.
Once we get things rocking, like we have 2 episodes with you that were recorded some time ago that we're going to release this week and next week. So when we do our shows, we usually release them on Fridays. So we'll release the audio on Friday mornings. We'll release the video on YouTube on Friday, and then the Facebook one we usually do on Saturdays. So we kind of like trickle out through the weekend. So we will have that up. So, but this week we're gonna have the video that you and I that we did, Death Metal Challenge, and then the week after next week, what we're gonna have is the episode we did with you talking about wrestling.
Yeah, I tell you, man, I've been on some podcasts, but you guys I always like, oh, I love being on there, fucking, because like right now, I just feel like I've been just chatting with someone. I'm like, holy fuck, I forget there's people watching, and I'm
we're on the air.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
You guys have been on my show once before, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes, this is our second time on your show. I think you've been on.
I got it written down, but you guys can check out all the archives. This will be uploaded on YouTube tomorrow. Historically Haunted, right on YouTube. Season 3, sponsored by Donnie. Check out the Apocalypse Project. Rudy and Playboy. They're not really on Facebook a lot as far as like their own personal pages, but follow their page, the Apocalypse Project. It is podcast, but there's no podcast on. And you can't like it. Sorry, you can't like it. You can only follow it. And you guys are proudly booked by me, Historically Haunted Booking LLC. So when I'm not buzzed, message me if you want to be a guest on their show. If you have a show, you want them on your show. If you have a convention, a meet and greet, a banquet, a party, and you want them there live performing, having a table, message me. We'll work something out. You guys are pretty much up to travel if the price is right as far as booking is concerned, right?
We could bring equipment. We could do live on set. We could do speakers.
Shows,
we got microphones. Show. We got everything. Cameras. Whatever. We could bring.
You guys are willing to be guests. You're willing to bring guests on. You guys are always looking for new guests, new friends.
We're always looking for new guests, and that's one of the things that we'll probably talk about. And after we're done here, is we're looking for recommendations on future guests too. So
that's where I come in. That's where you're covered for 12 months. You don't need to ask anybody but me. I'll get you Marlon Taylor. He was the black dude in It. He was the Losers Club that had the book open. Marlon's a big fan of mine. He's like, let me know if you have any more podcasts. I'm like, shit.
Oh man,
I get Tony Sparrow on one of my clients' podcasts in like a day. So you guys work for me. I'm sorry, I work for you. You're friends, but you're family. But we're also, you know what I mean? Like, dude, Rudy, you know what's up, dude. I fucking owe you. I know what's up. You've beyond paid. But anyway, so with 6 minutes left to go, anything I left out? Anything you guys want to talk about? What do you guys see yourself doing next year? You see yourself doing more documentaries, maybe?
You know what? I want to start doing some more. I know me and Rev could kind of toss the idea around, but we want to do some documentaries. Maybe start writing that script. If we want to do a movie, we actually would remember that.
We thought, that's one. We should probably go into that. So I came up with a couple ideas for a couple of scripts for.
And and I've been keeping a lot of ideas because because I don't know if you follow my private page, but we every weekend there's always something going on in my family. I have a pretty big family, so we always get together, and there's a lot of comedians in my family. So I'm like, dude, I'm gonna put that in the movie. I'm gonna put that in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and so I have a list of things that because we want to write this comedy, and produce the comedy, and whether we're in it or not, but we want to get to sorry, is we want to do. I want to do a documentary. We want to do a documentary.
Yeah.
We want to do a movie. Next year.
So we got a couple of things like that. And then also what we wanted to do was one of the reasons why we started this podcast, just because we wanted to be podcasters, but because we wanted to produce and help others launch their own podcasts and shows. So that's something that we're trying to do is look for other local podcasts or even podcasts of people that are in other areas of the country that are looking, and we can help and consult and help launch podcasts. So that's something that I want to do. And then also, this is something that we talked about is potentially putting together some kind of not a conference, but kind of like a seminar with some of the guests that we met here in California, like whether we haven't talked. I don't want to mention any names, so we haven't talked to them yet. But where we can gather some people who are local paranormal people and do like a seminar and have a guest speaker and anybody that's like interested and just start hosting a local seminar. But those are future plans that we need to sit and hammer out.
And I know we yeah, and check this out. We also tossed around the idea of having we haven't named it, but I'm thinking like a celebration day, whether we record or don't record. I would love to get all our guests that's ever been on our show, and we could come together in like a hall or at, even here or and just have like a weekend bash party, barbecue, and just all hang out. I would love to do something like that. That'd be badass.
Another client. Yeah, it would be great. I love that. Dude, honestly, I've never been past Iowa. That's the farthest I've been, Virginia and Iowa, and I've been to Florida. But I never really cusped the whole West End, man. If the things are right, dude, I'm 44. I've died once for 38 seconds. I'm good. Let's go. I'll fucking go to Mars if the fucking money's right.
As long as I
don't care, dude. I mean, dude, think about it. I watched both my best friends die, one of cancer, one of a fucking heart attack, both before they were 40. Both before I was 40. I said, I'm not going to hit 40. I'm 44. I've lived 6 years longer than both my best friends are going to be my best men. I had one child, miscarriage. So I'm with Heather now, and I love her. It's a different girl. It's been 6 years, and you know what? I don't care.
Hey,
I'm fucking done with anything. Nate's freaking in.
Yeah, that's the light at the end of the tunnel, though. Honestly, I think you're just beginning. I think, honestly, like, how they say sometimes when we're born, we're not really alive, right? We're born, we're just going through the motions. But I think right now you're alive, bro. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm talking to Playboy and fucking Sir Rev Rudy. I'm talking to two of the coolest cats I know, motherfucker. I can be myself. And people are like, oh my God, he swore he's smoking a joint. I think he's smoking marijuana. But then some people come on and go, oh, you're fucking cool. Like Marlon loves me, dude.
The only thing is we live in California and I want a cigarette so bad, but we can't smoke inside. So this being California and all,
you're gonna get arrested.
Well, hey, we got a couple minutes left. I want to know what's both of yours separately. What's both your bucket list? Give me one for America. Give me one for other than America, Europe and shit.
Oh, that's interesting. Really quick. So I think
to travel, you mean, or like just anything?
Well, just like what? Do you got to get to like the Grand Canyon before you die, or do you got to get to like?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like New York City before you die.
Mine would be I would like to visit Rome. Just I'm a big historian, like ancient historian. I like ancient history. So I'd like to visit Rome. A lot of people that are Christians was like, oh, I want to go to Jerusalem, or I was like, nah. I'd rather go to Rome because I think there's a lot more history that is preserved in Rome. And then I think in the States, oh man,
close to the Vatican.
Yeah, well, I'm not a Catholic, so I mean, I can give or take that, but not to say too much negative about the Catholics, but that's.
Now he wants to sit on my lap. I'm like, you're not a priest.
Sit on my face. What?
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Like in the States, I mean, man, where would I want to go that I haven't been? I mean,
besides Maine.
Well, I was gonna say Maine because you're there, but since I can't say Maine. I don't know. I guess
Salem? New Orleans?
Wow, that is. I've never thought of that. I've never thought like where else.
You've never thought of a place in America that you'd like to go?
Because we live in California, so it's the best. That's like,
oh, burn! But I mean, Texas, fuck off. You fucking California's not even part of America. It should break off.
I'll be honest with you. I've been really into.
I've been
really into like the Yellowstone show. Have you watched that on like Peacock? It's about
Colorado?
a ranch.
Is that Colorado?
No, it's about Montana.
I have a cousin.
Oh, Montana. Okay, Montana.
I've been really intrigued, but I think if I would want to go somewhere, I think I would if I had enough money to go buy somewhere that prop somewhere, I think I would go somewhere where I would have a lot of land out of the middle of nowhere, and I think Montana has probably Montana, Idaho, central north countries. The free states. Because I've heard a lot of negative about Texas, like it's just mainly flat. So, but I think like Montana has some of the most beautiful like mountain ranges I've heard.
I think I have a cousin.
So I think if I would want to go anywhere to live for an extended period of time, would probably somewhere like in that area. I guess.
Is that where Rushmore is, or is that like South Dakota?
I think it's in the Dakotas.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Black Hills.
You don't hear that much. When I ask for like bucket list, everybody goes New Orleans, Salem, Gettysburg. And you say fucking Montana, that's definitely going to be a first. But hit that bell. Wah, 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 wah. I want one of them fucking things. I listen to Oliver Anthony and I cry. And people go, he's right. He's right.
Well, I think it's because being in California, it's just like, okay, here's the beautiful thing about California, which a lot of people I don't know realizes, is that within the state of California, you have every single scenery in the world. You like being where we are in the Central Valley. I could drive about an hour to an hour and a half to 3 hours, and I could be in Monterey at the coast, be in San Francisco at the city. I could be up in Sacramento,
the Sierras, or we could go to the Sierras.
In 5 hours, I could be in
country.
LA. In about a couple hours, I could be up in the mountains, up in the Sierra Nevadas. So it's kind of like that's one of the beautiful things about being.
We'll take you to Calaveras Big Trees. Some of the biggest, oldest trees in the world, man.
We're within just a few hours drive of being from the mountains and the snow. We're not that far from the Death Valley Desert. We're not that far from the ocean. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about California.
And what do we do every weekend?
Nothing. We stay here because we're poor and broke, so we drink beer.
Because we're in California.
Because we live in California. It's too expensive. Everything's expensive. Thank you, Joe Biden.
It's free to leave your couch.
We're too broke to go anywhere, so we just stay here. But we want to go.
Yeah.
You know what's funny though? You fucking laugh. You know what's funny though? You laugh, but that sounds like Maine. As much as I love it here, I stay here all week long. If I'm not with Heather, dude, I work, come home, DoorDash, and honestly just watch horror movies. And then of course I connect with my clients and I share the fucking shit out of your stuff. And I tell you what, where I live, there's not a lot going on. It's peaceful, but sometimes it's fucking boring, dude. Wow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we got ocean, we got mountain, we got country. Bangor's 45 minutes away. I can go where Stephen King was, Al Brady. You ever heard of Al Brady?
Mm-hmm. Al Brady?
After Bonnie and Clyde died, Dillinger was America's Most Wanted, Dillinger. And after he died, Al Brady from Indiana, the Al Brady gang was number one, 23 years old. He was shot by J. Edgar Hoover in the FBI in the streets of Bangor. There's a brick there.
No way.
There's a brick outside. Al Brady was shot here in 1937. Guess what? You go to Mount Hope Cemetery in Bangor, which is America's second oldest garden cemetery, fashioned after Mount Hope in Massachusetts. Mount Hope in Bangor, or I'm sorry, Mount Auburn in Massachusetts. Mount Hope in Bangor is where Stephen King played the Reverend in Pet Cemetery. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord keep the sheep on you. Where Gage is buried. Well, guess what?
Right there.
Guess what? Fucking Al Brady's buried there at 23 years old, a Jewish guy. And guess who else is buried there? America's first Republican vice president underneath Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, shit.
Hannibal Hamlin. And he's buried there. And his grave, the dude walked through to bury Gage up in the movie. And I've been there and got pictures, and historically haunted stores can bring you there.
You know what you need to do? You know what you need to do, Adam? You need to write a book, man. Like, yeah,
I'm halfway through my first biography.
Nice. There it is.
I told everybody $10 donation gets you in. I've had about 15 donations at $10 minimum.
How do we donate? How do we donate?
No, PayPal. You don't have to.
Throw it out there. I want to give you 10
bucks. Get your name in my credits. It'll be your name. I got about 15 people.
When we hang up, send that info in there. I want to donate, man.
That'd be awesome to have you on the show, an author, because we'll donate. Hey, can we donate and then with the promise of let us record your audio book for you? Oh yeah, we'll record the audio book. We'll put sound effects and everything.
And you get naked pictures of me. Everything, all included.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, other than the ones I already have.
We already got those.
I got a picture of Adam wearing nothing but his wrestling belt. I'm like, well, it must be cold out there in Maine right now. It's a balmy.
No, be cruel. It's cold out. It's cold out. It's cold.
I
love you guys.
Oh man, no,
We're going 2 hours. I'm gonna grab another 15 minutes out of you because I don't give a fuck.
Let's do it.
Well, you never let
me. It's actually, if you want to go on, I'm gonna keep going until it cuts me off. If it cuts me off, it's because it cut me off. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, that is funny. No, but one of the things that's really cool because I thought about writing a book, and I think like we like Dr. Lee has written a few books now, and we haven't talked about talked with her since she's written her book, and I feel really bad because it's like I know we have one of them, and we wanted to do a review of the book and then talk to her about it, and I thought it would be really cool, and it would be really awesome if you had your book. I'm like, man, we're just talking to all these acclaimed authors. Look at this.
But
you would really read it though. You would really buy it and read it.
Yeah.
You would really read it.
You know why? Because check this out, bro. Thinkers are readers, bro. Leaders are readers. Let's not forget that.
I get it, but see, it's. I don't know. I feel like it's stupid because I've thrown away about 50 pages. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna try not to.
You gotta remember,
it's a biography. It's about me growing up. It's about my grandmother wanting my mom to have an abortion and kill me.
No, so that's I don't think you should take that lightly. And I think because there's a lot of people out there with that similar story. One of our guests that we had on actually is a pastor of one of the church that I go to. His name is Scott. He has that similar story. It's just like his mom basically was a young single mom, and she was going to have an abortion. And her grandparents, who were Catholics at the time, and they were just like, no, we won't allow it.
Roman Catholic. She's Italian, full-blooded Italian. Oh, yeah. And she wanted my mom to kill me because she wasn't married.
Yeah. Well, that's just unfortunate. But the fact that because I know people that are aware of that, like people that are kids that are aware that they're adopted or that they were going to be aborted, that has such stigma on them of they feel less valuable. And I think to be able to express that in written form, to share that, and then to understand like how you can overcome that is so vitally important, no matter who says it.
Well, honestly, I was never aborted per se. I think God tried to take me out because I died twice as a child. My mom had to have emergency C-section because my heart rate was falling, right? So I think I have a little bit of a dog in the fight in this scenario. I think we were the ones that knew we were strong enough to handle what was going to come our way, right? Like Adam Began, you're the person you are because of that. God knew you were strong enough to be able to withstand the storm, right? As they say, right? So I take pride in that. It's like, yeah, it could have went this way. I could feel sorry for myself, but you know what? God knew I was strong enough to handle that. So here I am. And you know what? I did my mom right, because my mom was a single mother, and she treated us the best she could. And you know what? And I live my life with that pride and to show the world like this is what a single mother can do. I'm not on dope. I'm not in prison. I broke the mold, as they say, because I have a lot of relatives in and out. Like I could have been there. I would have if this was any reality show, I would have every excuse to be a dope fiend, to be in and out, you know. But regardless of how my childhood was, here I am now speaking with you fine gentlemen, right? Free. I ain't got to worry about the cops coming up in here. You know, my money's leaving. You know what I'm saying? And if you look at my lyrics, bro, I used to say that I love legal money. There ain't a damn thing they could do to take it from me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is mine. And to me, I give a lot of credence to my mom, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? That gives me a lot of hope, because it's like God must have known that I was strong enough to endure whatever comes my way. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't think that way. A lot of people let that drown them down and bring them down. You know, honestly,
preach.
I think our perception of the way we look at life is different, especially as survivors. I call this survivors.
And as a historian too, and I think that's what you have to really wear that title. I think the one beautiful thing about when you read ancient histories, especially like from
I thought you were gonna say ancient aliens. I was like,
no. Hey, Playa, though, seriously, real quick, Playa, that was deep. I appreciate you, Playa.
Yeah.
Sure,
but I think everybody should, like, you know, people used to keep diaries or whatever. I think it's vitally important, because, you know, who knows? Like, look how valuable it is when archaeologists come across written records of something from the distant past. How much it's
okay, we're back.
Okay, we're back.
Oh, sorry. That was me. I lost Wi-Fi that time. That was me. My Wi-Fi is bad here. They give me about 9 minutes left. That's capped. I got 9 minutes left. That'll be capped 2 hours. I'll be on your show soon enough. Nate's checking in here. Nate's part of the family. Nathaniel Elbow will be speaking at Salem Con. He's part of the booking. Check him out, Newport. He wants to follow you guys. I'll send him the link after. History's valuable. To touch on history, I watch some of my videos sometime. I'm kind of that type of whore where I watch my own shit. And I went to
I listen to my own podcast at work.
Well, because, you know what I mean? Just to make sure. I'm like, I could have said that better. I felt like an idiot there. That was good.
I give myself a lot of constructive criticism, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I enjoy our shows so much that when I listen back to it, it's still entertaining to me, even though I was a part of it. You know, I don't know if that makes any kind of sense to anybody, but that's just me, I guess. But yeah,
I just want, before we go and get cut off again, we get 8 minutes to go. Maybe trying to cut me off here soon. I know we only got so much time. It's a free version of StreamYard. Rudy, I want to talk to you as a man, dude. That time that I didn't have registration for my car, and without a doubt, you're like, "What's your PayPal?" I went to bed crying that night because I don't have many people in life that would do that for me, and I feel like I would do that for them if I could. And I don't know, man. Thank you. I that's not really enough, I guess. I don't know.
No.
But
yeah, and
I needed that money bad. And you didn't even question. You're like, "What's your PayPal?" I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "You don't even." I thought for sure you'd want. And I went months without paying you back, to the point where I started a booking agency. I'm like, "You want to join, and I'll pay you X amount?" You're like, "Waive it all. We're good." I'm like, "Fuck me. You're amazing." That's amazing. No, seriously, dude. I mean, fuck. You don't have much in life, brother. And I love you guys. I love you in Playboy.
So you know.
And I thought Mosquito was your real last name, not your fucking town.
No, but if you ever need anything, man, you're more than welcome to reach out to both of us, bro.
I love you both. I love you both, and I will go to war for you. I will get you guests. I will get you booked as guests. I'll get you conventions. I'll get you whatever you have. Anything, I will share it, plug it.
I'll do anything.
I'm sorry.
I'll do anything at the Bunny Ranch. I'm just kidding.
No. So here's one of the reasons why I didn't hesitate. Number one, just because there's a connection that I felt like that we had, that I thought that was genuine.
You're mine.
And
he's
also,
mine, Adam.
And also because I've always had this thought: if we were all in closer proximity to each other, there was an unlimited to things that we could do to what we would be able to do. Like I would like this set right here would be a part of what we would do for you. Like it would be a partnership. Like we'd be working hand in hand with each other, with each other's shows, like creating a set. Like we have space in this room here where I said, okay, there's Adam's set over there. There's, you know, that's our goal and dream. And because I know that isn't a possibility because you're so far away, that this is the least I can do to at least say, hey, I appreciate you and I appreciate what you do, that I hope that you're successful. And you've turned out to be more successful than us so far.
Yes, but the thing is, well, no, that's different though. I mean, that's different though. I've been fight or flight for a long time, and you do your own thing. And we talk behind the scenes, Rudy. You know about my living conditions. You know about the trailer park. We've talked about all that stuff, and I think that. I don't know. I think I do it a little bit more than most people. Most people have time off, and I just keep going. And I think it's a difference. Not comparing it, but either way, dude, you're in my life. And right now, where I'm at in my book, dude, I've experienced death since I was a kid. Like my mom told me that I was talking to my grandfather in 1988. Now, mind you, I was about 10 years old. And I was talking to him walking in the living room, looking up at the sky, talking. And she was witnessing from her bedroom in the back of the trailer as I walked from the fucking corner, talking to him, looking up, grabbing a drink out of milk, going back to my room. And I told her years later, I go, Papa came to me and told me to grab some milk. My grandfather, George Willett, Frenchman. Mom goes, I watched you from my bedroom. See, my cats died, man. I died for 38 seconds. A dude hit me, hit and run in Scarborough, Maine. My car given to me from my mom. And the dude hit me. I never found him. I had seaweed in my car because my car was flipped upside down. I told Heather when she dropped me from the emergency room after my head was stitched up from hitting the windshield and dying. I told her, I said, my airbags are orange. And my mom told me my wallet's underneath the seat. We go to the car. Guess what? My fucking Ford Fusion airbags are orange and my wallet was underneath the seat. So I don't know, man. I mean, God's been in my life. I try hard. I figure I'm on borrowed time. And so I went from homeless to homeowner. I bought my trailer for $20,000, fully furnished. I had nothing, and I did it. So I think we're out of time. But thank you guys for joining. Heather, thank you so much for joining in, Heather. When I start my podcast, I want to have you on, obviously. Oh, my God. Here they come. We're out of time. You're back.
We thought they cut us off.
I thought you did too, son of a bitch. We get 3 minutes. Heather's time in saying all, and Nate wants both of us. He wants either you or me. Probably me, maybe I don't know you, but he wants us on his podcast. I'm sure you we wouldn't mind. Heather, can't wait to finally meet you at the Paracon. But yeah, real quick, I went from rags to riches, and people like you have stuck with me. I can't thank you guys enough for being my friends and brothers and under God, brothers and sisters watching under God, with about 15 listeners all night all together. We got 4 active right now with 3 minutes to go before they pull the plug. Sir Rev, Playboy, Rudy, what do you guys get to say? Apocalypse Project podcast.
Other than it's been nothing but a pleasure since the time that we were able to talk to you and all the people that we've been able to meet. This has been a journey. And that's one of the things, like if we had not started this podcast, like we've been able to talk to you. We met a good friend in Kenny, Father Kenny Torres, Dr. Heather Lee. We've been able to talk to Chris McKennell, and other people that are outside of the paranormal world that we've been able to talk to. And it's just going to keep growing. And I think that we're in a really interesting season now, like especially after the loss that we've experienced with my father, and then with Zan, and then the different things that we're dealing with. But it's just like we're ready to throw the gauntlet down and let's get to work and let's see what we can do, especially now that we're in partnership.
I think
with you.
now, like we're all in. Yeah. Said, what, fuck it, man. We're, whatever the hand that we're holding, we're all in and just see what happens. At the end of the day,
we're gonna have a historically haunted booking podcast. Something you guys are we're gonna have some sort of meeting. You know what's funny about it? So 3 hours before the podcast, I reached out to Father Ken Torres. I used to be part of the Warren Legacy. I bowed out. I was the Northeast historian, but I bowed out for now. There's a lot on my plate with everything else going on. As you can imagine, I got 12 things going on. So I talked to Father Ken. I just told him how much I love and appreciate him. He said he'd contact me soon. He loves me too. When I was homeless, he gave me $25 just to get food one day.
Nice.
I've been there, man. And even Heather Lee, Dr. Torres, Chris McKennell, Tony Sparrow, they're all good people. You guys are good people. With 2 minutes to go, The Apocalypse Project podcast. Where can people? Where do you hope to see yourselves, man? You guys want to get out some meet and greets conventions next year? You hope?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah,
we're up for meet and greets. We like to get in touch with and be in person, face to face, because we're just like that. We're done. We've done concerts. We've done things. So we like to. We're not ashamed. We're not ashamed, but we're not afraid to be in front of people and speak, have a good time, and MC or whatever. To MC your show,
and that's why we started our on location little segment where we actually went out to things, and we're going to be doing that. So one of the people that we met out there at the meet there, the thing that we were out on downtown, they have the Star Wars convention guys, and then they had another where they're going to be at comic book conventions. And my sister works at a comic book shop, and she's always at conventions. So we're just going to go out and start a booth because they have media tables out there. So hey, let's just go set up a media table. And basically, we're just gonna throw a bunch of hooks in the water, see what catches. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much where we are right now.
As you guys know, we'll talk off camera, but send me all the things you can. So thank you guys so much for watching. This is Historically Haunted VODCAST, Season 3, sponsored by Trucker Donnie Green, the dude who killed Gage in Pet Cemetery. I'm you. And Bauer Green Logistics. Also sponsored the week, Triple God and Goddess, and John Green Trucking Logistics Company. Sir Rev, Playboy, Rudy, how are you? We're going to go. We're done now. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next week with our guest. I forget her name. Check it out, though. Thank you guys so much. We love you guys. We'll be on YouTube channel.